Hi, this is Jonathan Fields, host of The Good Life Project, where each week I talk to listeners about investing in their future by increasing their own vitality. But when it comes to those financial goals, whether it be saving for a home renovation, growing your child's college fund, or travel, life can make it difficult to stay the course. By working with a dedicated Merrill advisor, you get a personalized plan and a clear path forward. Having the bull at your back helps your whole financial life move with you. So when your plans change, Merrill's with you every step of the way. Go to ml.com/bullish to learn more. Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do? Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC.
Now trending? Fall. And DSW's here with all the obsession-worthy shoe trends you need in your closet. Feeling fierce? DSW's got bold snake print boots and a retro sneaker with animal print details. Going for demure? Kitten heels are the eye-catching yet walkable heel all over your feet and all over DSW. From edgy moto boots to sweetly simple ballet flats, find the must-own shoe trends of the season right now at your DSW store or dsw.com.
How did you actually sleep last night? If it didn't feel like your very best rest, then you need to upgrade to the softest, most luxurious bedding from Boll & Branch. Their signature sheets are made from the finest 100% organic cotton and get softer with every wash. Millions of sleepers love their sheets, and right now, you can feel the difference for yourself during their biggest sales of the entire year. Hurry to bollandbranch.com to shop their best offers. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly. And this is Seeking Sister Wife, Season 5, Episode 10, Seeking a Deeper Understanding.
How deep are we talking here? Are we talking like Garrick Merrifield deep?
Yeah. That's how deep we're going.
Oh, no. I'm kind of worried.
Although, does it go that deep?
I get the sneaking suspicion it's not going that deep.
What is happening here?
Oh, boy.
We're already off the rails and we didn't even start yet.
No, this is just
I'm uncomfortable. Intro. I'm uncomfortable, Corey.
Well, happy Mother's Day.
Happy belated Mother's Day.
Yes, to those who celebrate. If you choose to celebrate.
Well, and happy Mother's Day to Danielle Merrifield, a mother yet again, and not to Natalia.
Despite all odds or to spite all odds? I guess that
is the question.
That is the question. But we have the episode description for this one is the Merrifields meet Natalia's friends, and Danielle reveals her true feelings to Natalia. Things reach a tipping point between the Salahuddins and Naeem's mother. The Davis sister wives meet with a new potential sister wife. And every time I type sister wives in my phone, it just automatically capitalizes it. It puts the respect on sister wives.
Proper noun.
The proper noun as a show.
Yeah, I'm worried because I can't help myself. I have to spell Danielle's name properly.
Double L, double N?
Yeah, 2 N's and 2 L's. So I'm worried that it's just going to permanently change Danielle to that. Although Danielle Davis is probably helping me out here because I am spelling that with 1 N and 2 L's.
Yeah, it'll balance out and kind of normalize your total usage amount there, probably.
I am waiting for America to happen to me.
Yeah, with a capital M. America.
Do we want to talk about Mary? I just realized her announcement happened last week. We said we would find out probably when the episode had dropped.
Yeah, we kind of did find out. And we weren't too far off.
Is anybody excited by this except for Mary? I don't think Mary really understands exactly what she's doing. It appears to be some type of coaching situation in which you're learning how to foster the worthiness that already exists inside of you.
But no, yeah, it feels like the top of a funnel to a cult.
It does.
Is what it's really reading as right now, where she's going to get you to believe that no one in your life appreciates you and that the only way that you can find value is by joining this group that will reinforce your own value within yourself.
Isn't that exactly what she did, though? And wasn't that kind of true?
That's what I'm saying. This plays like a cult. So that's the alarming part.
It is quite expensive, although Mary will tell you exactly how much it will cost you per day if you try to argue about the price.
Well, for this year.
Yeah, it's very unclear. Is this an annual situation or through the end of December?
I get the feeling if you give Mary your credit card number, she's going to be running those at midnight on New Year's Day.
Happy New Year!
She will be ready to ring it in. Ring in the new year.
As the fireworks are going off.
Yeah, that's great. We got work to do.
The ball dropped and we just processed a whole bunch of payments.
That's the plan. That's the model.
Man, I miss them. So there are 3 episodes left to Seeking Sister Wife. And then we are going to be getting back into our rewatch of Sister Wives.
Season 13, episode 2 is where we'll be picking up because we had just started in on our season 13 recap. So we'll be picking up on episode 2.
So hang in there with us just another couple of weeks. And in the meantime, we're being entertained, are we not?
Well, it's the lack of the Ryan family is becoming apparent this week.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks in a row.
I was okay with 1 week out, but then as soon as we went to 2 weeks, I was really feeling it. My withdrawals.
You want an episode rewrite? I realized we didn't do that yet.
Oh, yeah, we got to go over that.
Garrick spends his last night in Rio inside of Roberta number 2. The Salahuddins get into a verbal altercation with Chewbacca. The Davis family go on a date with a walking red flag.
Oh. Well, it was more of a high-vis neon flag than a red flag.
It's true. It wasn't red. What was that? Was it yellow? Was it green? I'm still unsure.
It looked like construction worker vest material, that high visibility.
Think she was going to go for an evening walk? Walking the dogs late at night?
Is she a foreman? Is she a union leader?
She did say she had to go to work after.
It's true. Well, let's start there. I feel like this is the best place to start.
The Davis family?
Sure.
Okay. You seem not too confident about that.
I wasn't sure on what to do for the order, but it seems like this is just the natural progression of the conversation. So let's go here.
Okay. So now that they have decided that they're going to be dating again, they have very quickly found someone who wants to go on a date with them.
Well, and they had to remind us, it was April telling us that, since Danielle was the apprehensive one and now she's ready to date, we're going to start dating. And the wide shot of the 3 wives on the couch with Danielle shifting her eyes and her gaze back and forth, just completely paranoid, looking terrified at the end of the couch there for that shot alone, tells you pretty much everything you need to know about this segment.
I find them very uninteresting aside from Danielle.
Danielle's the star.
She is. She doesn't know it, but she is the star.
She's holding this together because Nick was reading a lot of hand-fed lines. I feel like they were writing a lot for him, especially in this episode where they're kind of feeding along this storyline that they have going about Danielle's a loose cannon and she might leave at any moment here and we have to be careful. So a lot of his stuff was very prescriptive.
But all of Danielle's facial reactions all come naturally.
She cannot hide those reactions that are taking place.
So I want to ask, we keep hearing how hard it is to find someone who wants to be a sister wife. You need 10 different dating apps, but not for the Davis family.
Yeah, they seem to be doing just fine.
Did they say that she reached out to them? I think that they did. I can't remember.
I think so. But doesn't that make it more of a red flag?
Yes. Yes.
She
is a walking red flag.
She's seeking you out. And the reason why they picked her was because they thought she was spunky and cute, which I would just like to go on record to say that's the same reasons why we picked our puppy. So
that is how we picked her.
We said, she's spunky. She's cute. But
she does sleep in the bed with us.
She does sleep in the bed. And it's not a 12-foot bed. It's different, though.
I have to talk about the necklace, like beyond the neon colored dress, the crystal encrusted Scorpio necklace.
My Scorpio child. My first impression of Jasmine is that she must have hit a vape pen in the car before coming in here. Like she is just giving the vibe here. She's got some of that fuck it in her system.
She's very predictable in a certain way. Do you think she scares Danielle? on the inside.
But it's scary, but it's exciting for Danielle right now.
Well, yeah, because I feel like Jasmine embodies a lot of things that Danielle would like to be part of her own personality, but don't come to her naturally.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that Danielle would want to aspire to within Jasmine, but it's things that she's afraid of, like voicing her own opinions.
I think that's debatable. We'll talk about it. They're playing Jenga, tabletop Jenga, with some drinks, and they're asking each other questions. I kind of enjoyed this. I thought this was like a low-key, not too much pressure kind of date.
Well, at least it wasn't Truth or Dare Jenga, because this was just their own game that they came up with where when you place a block on top of the tower, you get to ask someone a question. And so they kind of made up their own rules. But we're finding out a little bit about Jasmine, a little bit about the Davis family wives as well. But it's sounding like Jasmine doesn't have experience with polygamy.
No, she doesn't. But she does come from a family that operated much like a pride instead of a wolf pack, which is how most people live their lives.
But I don't know what that means. If she didn't have experience with that, so how many women were going out and working, and how many men were at home raising children in her family structure?
I don't know. She didn't elaborate, but I was like, wow, this is like pretty intense knowledge, like animal facts. I don't know that would have come out of my mind right away to make that comparison of a wolf pack versus a pride.
Well, she's been crafting this personality to present to the wives here
That's
for
true.
Quite some time.
She thought that up a while ago.
Yes. She thought that this would be good. I thought it was kind of scary where some of the questions that were flying around, we were learning about, like Jennifer had chimed in about the benefits, the best things about this lifestyle that they embody here is that there's like this dependency that she has on it. She was trying to say it in a positive way, but it sounded very negative.
Wasn't she trying to say there's security in it?
But it feels like there's a reliance that's part of this structure for her, where she doesn't have independence in that way.
It was this or a mainstream cult for Jennifer, was it not?
I think those were her only two options left. So honestly, I'm glad that we saw her here instead of on Mary's Facebook channels.
I feel like she would really fit in like a Plath family situation.
Because that's what Danielle's kind of describing too, where she wants lots of kids. She grew up with lots of siblings. We don't really know much of her background. She has mentioned that multiple times, though, that she has a bunch of siblings. So maybe there is a Plath family survival aspect here that happened.
I don't think so.
Do you think Danielle was raised on a farm?
No.
That's why she was into all the animal facts that Jasmine was spitting out here?
What'd you think about her comment that she wants to populate the world? She's got one son, but she's ready to have more babies.
Yeah, populating the next generation.
Maybe she would fit into a Duggar Plath family environment.
That seems like it's more that model.
I mean, that's literally the mindset, is it not?
Where you just have to keep pumping kids out. This is where the concern of the size of the bed comes into play, because then they're asking if she's comfortable sharing a bed with 4 other people, which she didn't seem opposed to, but she also asked 0 follow-up questions to clarify what is the size of the bed.
Because she's seen them on TV before. She knows about the bed. She has to.
No, not the 12-footer. That was this season. That was the beginning of this season. So that hasn't aired yet. They bought and installed that. That was part of their new house this season.
They didn't have a big bed before, though?
No, this was, well, maybe they had I think they had the bang room.
It wasn't like they did have the bang room.
They had a sleeping room.
Yeah, I'd have to know what the situation was with the bed. I'd want to know more about that.
Before committing to anything to say, yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm good sharing a bed with 4 other people. No, can we talk about the logistics of how this is operating before we go into detail on anything else?
Is it like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory situation? There's 2 of you on each end of the bed?
And how long have you been in the bed? Yeah, we don't want a Grandpa Joe scenario where it's been 25 years since you've left the bed. Please don't do that.
She just seems like she's trying to appease them. She even talks about how she's like a mellow, not really jealous kind of person.
Okay, this was the other part that was a red flag for me, because she was kind of approaching this in the same way that Nyla had approached jealousy in polygamy last week, where Jasmine seems to be of the same school of zero practice in polygamy and all theory.
Yes, right? Like, I'm not a jealous person. Well, that's easy to say when you've only been in a relationship where the expectation is that you're both just with each other.
And that was only adding to my theory about the vape pen before she came in for this meeting, for this date, which plays more like an interview. That seems to be a trend on this show as well. It's not very much dating as it is interview. Will you be a good fit for the team? That's what we're here to find out about today.
Well, they're vetting her. Nick says that's what his wives do. They go out, they vet the person before he goes on a date with them. And we know how important vetting is, according to Cody Brown. He didn't do enough of it with some of his wives. And look where it got him.
Some of them. Well, and I didn't like that Nick was basically placing all of the responsibility of vetting additional wives on his existing wives. It's their job to see if someone's a right fit for me.
I honestly think they do it this way because it looks better for him. I don't think people would be very comfortable watching him going out and seeking another woman, that it adds to that perception that he's just a womanizer and that all of these women have been caught in his trap and it's a bad situation and they're just getting taken advantage of. That if the women are the ones going out seeking the additional partner, that it takes some of that onus away from him.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the Cody Brown method too, because he always had Mary as his recruiter. So that was kind of the standard there. It just seemed like a cop-out, though, for Nick to say that his wives should have caught anything that they needed to catch on this one interaction with Jasmine, probably, based on how things are going. Because it doesn't seem like they did a very good job of vetting Jasmine.
Well, they didn't even stop to talk with each other before they told her what they thought of her. That I found bizarre because Danielle seemed to have reservations where she was seeing a mirror held up where she was like, I don't know, Jasmine seems like maybe she's just telling us what we want to hear, which is something we know they think Danielle is doing. And they didn't have any kind of conversation to talk about that before they told Jasmine she was approved to move to the next step.
For Danielle to be the one to look at Jasmine's behavior and say, I don't know, she seems to be very agreeable and it's hard to tell if she really feels that way. And it's like, I think we know why you would think that. That's a very natural response for you. So you could spot that in somebody else pretty quick, huh? I'm getting danger vibes from Jasmine.
Really?
It was alarm bells for me. The preview at the end of the episode did not help.
Of the hot tub?
With that feeling. No, not even the hot tub. It was just the single date with Nick for next week. The hot tub was at the mid-season preview, which that was mostly just great content for Danielle to be getting upset.
I think Jasmine's a little cray-cray, and I cannot wait to see more of her because I think she's going to liven up this storyline that has been not so great for the majority of the season.
It was a slow start. It was a false start.
I would like to have met her sooner in the season.
Yeah, maybe episode 3 or 4. We probably could have done that. You could have condensed most of Danielle's apprehension storyline into a few episodes and then really jump in with where are the issues.
Well, so I suspect that means that Jasmine doesn't last very long and hopefully means she does something that will thoroughly entertain us that leads to her not coming back for another date.
Yeah, because it seems like the general assessment of everyone here, they're confirming with Nick, yes, you have the green light to pursue dating Jasmine. Think you should go on a date. The ever important question is posed to Danielle because we have to be most careful with her in this situation. Do we think that Jasmine should go on a date alone with Nick, or should we do an altogether group date for the second date? And Danielle decides, against her better judgment, to let them go on a solo date, just Jasmine and Nick, which I feel like that is going to be a big source of regret. I feel like there's going to be plenty of problems that come from that, because Danielle is not prepared for what she's about to enter into with this dating experience. So I think in the group setting, it might have been a little bit easier for Danielle to see how this is going to go, and the flirting and the exchanges that happen between Nick and the potential new wife. But I feel like she's going to get hit with some heavy stuff right out the gate here.
I would have preferred, if I was Jasmine, to go on the group date so that you could see the dynamic of these people interacting with one another before you decided to get much further into the dating process with them. But like you said, she hit that vape pen. She's good to go.
She's very agreeable. A little too agreeable.
Well, a storyline with some not so agreeable people, the Salahuddins. This was a disaster, this episode, was it not?
An excellent Mother's Day episode for this storyline.
Yeah.
So we know the concept of the show now. It's Naeem and Nyla meeting friends, making friends, inviting friends to come have conversations on camera about polygamy, not so much about potential sister wives for them or any opportunities on that front. Mostly it's kind of devolved into let's ambush Naeem's mom.
Was the production company picking up the bill for all of these meals? Because there is a rumor that perhaps what Naeem alluded to about how polygamy is about love, unity, and income at the beginning of this episode, that could have a lot to do with the reason why they're seeking a sister wife. Think they're just getting free meals out of this?
Well, they didn't even get to a meal on this one. This was just barely drinks.
Drinks and apps.
That was about as far as we got. I didn't even see any apps either.
Take my food to go, thank you.
Yeah, I think this was just liquid only.
Sometimes you need that. And I hope their friend Jahari had enough to drink, because this was shitty to do to your friend.
They had to prepare Jahari for this.
No, they did not. They did at the table 2 seconds before Jamila showed up.
No, I mean, like, they had to have had this conversation where they know that you're bringing Jahari into this.
I don't think she knew it was going to turn into a fight. I think she knew it was going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't think she was prepared for the level of opposition, maybe.
Because you could tell that Jahari's personality is a good personality in a situation where somebody's standoffish, right? I think that she did a really good job with Naeem's mom trying to invite her into conversation and being friendly despite not being met with that in return.
Yeah, that was my favorite. The cut to commercial where it was Naeem's mom saying something really shitty, and then it's just Jahari going,
Yeah, that's my favorite.
That was the response. It's not like, oh, that was really rude, or combating back, firing back with anything of her own.
It was a very polite, shocked.
The inquisitive noise that went behind that.
Did you really just say that?
Did you mean to say that? Because it sounded pretty terrible. So do you want to rethink what you're saying to me?
They get to the restaurant. They're waiting for Naeem's mom to show up. They're ordering their cocktails. And they're sitting on the patio so that, was it a patio, a porch, something like that? They're sitting literally in the front of the restaurant. The door is right to the side of where they're sitting. So as soon as Jamila comes up, she sees that there's someone else at the table. It's not just Nyla and Naeem, who she thinks she's there to meet with.
So then, of course, her thought process is, this is somebody that they're dating. And
why would that not be her thought process?
And they're trying to spring this on me because that's literally what they were trying to do a couple weeks ago.
They sat her down and said, hey, just so you know, dinner's canceled tonight, but you were supposed to meet our potential sister wife who didn't show up to the airport. And now they're upset that she comes to the table and she's already annoyed because she thinks that they're doing this to her again. And they're like, no, this is just a friend. She's like, okay, what kind of friend?
Yeah. How friendly are we? But yeah, Naeem keeps calling her Godzilla. He keeps referring to his mom as Godzilla.
We have to talk about the outfit.
She doesn't look like Godzilla, though. Yeah, it's definitely more Chewbacca than anything.
It's Chewie vibes. Or the shaggy dog truck from Dumb and Dumber. Mm-hmm. It was giving that, the little cardigan thingy that she had, the little sweater. That, and then the pleather pants. She came dressed up.
Dressed up like something, yeah. Little costumey.
It was a little bordering costumey, wasn't it?
So Yeah, I don't think we were ready for this sort of conversation, this sort of dynamic that was on full display here.
I felt so bad because Jahari is sitting in the corner. There's like a gate on the patio around them. So she's stuck.
Yeah, she's got nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go. There's chairs everywhere. There's the table. There's no escape from this very awkward situation. You can't just be like, excuse me, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. Someone's calling me. I need to step away.
I got to squeeze by you here. Excuse me.
And things are very quickly getting heated at the table.
There is no approval. There's no common ground, I guess, that can be found here because Jamil is just opposed in general to polygamy. Definitely doesn't think it's right for Naeem, for her son. She doesn't want him involved in this at all. But it's fine if you, Jahari, would like to do that with your life. Great. That's your decision. But she doesn't want her son involved in that.
I'm getting annoyed watching them because I feel like it's very obvious that the conversation was intended to get his mom heated.
That's what I was like, is this just a way to nuke a relationship here? Like, are you guys just done with interacting with his mom? And so you figured, hey, we'll just get some content out of it because we're not really finding much success on the seeking sister wife aspect, because then there's a lot of stuff that starts getting dragged out here as part of this conversation starts unfolding of the reasons why. And I mean, Naeem's mom is kind of dodging some reasoning and responsibility on the conclusions that she is making. You could tell that she was shocked when she finds out that Jahari was bisexual as soon as that is thrown out there.
Well, so that's a great example of how I feel like they are purposely setting conversations up to upset her. And I'm not saying that that's okay, that that is a thing that upsets her. But Naeem had to clarify when Jahari was trying to explain how her relationship with her couple is different from the type of relationship that Naeem and Nyla are looking for, that when his mom wasn't really getting that when she said she had a relationship with both the wife and the husband, that she's bisexual, that he had to explicitly say it, I think was because he knew it was going to make her even less open to having a conversation.
And I think it's great that you brought up that point too, is this doesn't mean that Naeem's mom is in the right for any of this, because that response that happens. But I think that's kind of an interesting element to almost narcissistic or emotionally immature sorts of interactions where the closest thing I can equate this to is Mama Plath, where they'll push you into these extreme situations where then when the confrontation does happen, they still seem like a victim in that, and there's sympathy in that. She was trying to win Jahari over through the rest of this conversation about how, look at Nyla disrespecting me. She's being disrespectful to me, and trying to frame this conversation in the way that it's my opinion that I feel this way. You guys are going to do what you're going to do because you're selfish, and I don't think you should be doing it that way. I think it was weird that she starts throwing around the accusations that they're bad parents, basically, is what she's kind of pointing to here.
That's her argument, is that there's a child involved, because Jahari was trying to say, like, well, they're adults. They can have whatever type of relationship they want to have. And that's the counter argument, right? Well, there's a child involved, so it's not just about them. And that's who I have at the top of my list of who I'm concerned about. So it goes back to the selfishness is that they're doing something hedonistic that's for themselves, and they're not taking their child into account of how this is going to affect them possibly. But back to your point, I think you're right. I don't think that they talked to his mom very much, and they talked about their relationship being strained. But I would suspect that they have not seen her this frequently until the cameras showed up.
Yeah, and then this was just an interesting point to call out, where that wasn't a concern that she had listed off based on their previous conversations. All of her reasoning that we've seen so far has been about how it's nasty, it's spreading germs, it's all of her personal disdain and disgust about polygamy. Those have been her reasons why she's been trying to deter them. Now, when she has someone who is actively living polygamy at the table with them, she doesn't want to go that route because then that would be too disrespectful, blatantly disrespectful to Jahari, who's present here.
And Jahari's not going to agree with that, right?
You can't get Jahari on board with that train of thought. So now we have to change our reasoning on the argument to, it's the child. It's my grandchild. You're exposing them to this, and it's an issue, and it's a problem.
And that is what escalates things. Because not only does Naeem's mom not have a great relationship with him, she pretty much doesn't have a relationship with her granddaughter. So her talking to this person that she doesn't know and presenting it as though she's a concerned grandmother is infuriating to Nyla.
And she's asking legitimate questions as a mother, saying, you're making an assumption about my child not being okay with it, but I've talked to my child and I've had those conversations and we've talked about it and she is comfortable with it. So why are you saying that that's a thing? That if that's your reason, I can tell you that it's not. And then she was still sticking with it. And it's like, well, you're wrong because you don't even know because you haven't talked to her. You're just using that as a weapon in this argument.
Well, that's a great point. The weaponizing the relationship or lack thereof, but pretending that it's something more than it is.
It's coming from a place of care, but it's not.
And this is where they start yelling at each other.
I think this is the point. Yeah, basically for Naeem's mom, where she was getting upset that she's been called out on this stuff. Mm-hmm. And now she's getting embarrassed. So now she's escalating it because then she was blaming Nyla for escalating. You're disrespecting me. You're being disrespectful to your mother-in-law. She was getting
and
on...
maybe your aunt.
Well, yeah.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor online is that Naeem and Nyla are first cousins, and not just because she called her auntie in this fight. There was someone who got up on the internet this week and said, I am one of their children, and they are first cousins.
That's a whole other thing to unpack here.
If that's the truth, why have they been sitting on this the whole season? Because they have been like watching paint dry, and then we're going to find out that this might not only be her mother-in-law, but it's also her aunt. I want more of that. Give me the trashy trash storyline.
It went very Jerry Springer this episode.
Yeah, give me more. I want it.
Very quickly.
Inject it into my veins.
But I don't know. This is just more reasoning where I don't think that Nyla is prepared for a sister-wife relationship of any kind. If this is the sort of interaction that we're seeing. There was also people who were pointing out when Nyla was talking about sleeping in the same bed, she can't spend a night away from Naeem.
That was in the last episode, right?
Well, that was from this conversation where she was.
Oh,
it was in the. It was when they were talking about and explaining Jahari's
relationship with the
couple. With her couple,
yeah,
where she has a relationship with them as a couple and then each individually as well. And I think that was when they were talking about the topic of sleeping in the same bed or living with them, and that was when it came up where. It wasn't part of the conversation, but it was the confessional aside interview between Naeem and Nyla on the couch where they were talking about it, where Nyla had slipped up, where she was like, I wouldn't want to sleep away from him.
I mean, the Davis family does that.
We would have to sleep in the same bed.
You could get a giant bed. They've seen this show.
They have contact information available as needed. I don't know what you would pay on the shipping on a 12-foot mattress. That frame and install alone, it's going to set you back. If income was a concern, maybe they have financing options. I don't know.
Maybe the new sister wife has a credit card that you could use.
To make switching to the new Boost Mobile risk-free, we're offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
So why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Because you have nothing to lose. Boost Mobile is offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
No, I asked why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Oh.
Wouldn't.
Because you love wasting money as a way to punish yourself because your mother never showed you enough love as a child?
Whoa. Easy there.
Yeah.
Applies to online activations. Requires port in and auto pay. Customers activating in stores may be charged non-refundable activation fees.
Do you want to buy a home but don't know where to begin? Let's make home the goal. Hi, I'm Nancy Cole from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. Our Office of Housing Counseling has you covered, offering free or low-cost counseling services to help potential homebuyers and current homeowners. Our nearly 4,000 housing counselors across the U.S. are here to help you navigate your home buying journey every step of the way. To learn more and to find a HUD-certified housing counselor near you, visit HUD.gov/make home the goal.
Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop Game Day Faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
How did you actually sleep last night? If it didn't feel like your very best rest, then you need to upgrade to the softest, most luxurious bedding from Boll & Branch. Their signature sheets are made from the finest 100% organic cotton and get softer with every wash. Millions of sleepers love their sheets, and right now, you can feel the difference for yourself during their biggest sales of the entire year. Hurry to bollandbranch.com to shop their best offers. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Getting engaged can be stressful. Getting the right ring won't be at BlueNile.com. The jewelers at BlueNile.com have sparkle down to a science with beautiful lab-grown diamonds worthy of your most brilliant moments. Their lab-grown diamonds are independently graded and guaranteed identical to natural diamonds and ready to ship to your door. Get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com, code LISTEN for $50 off.
So this is where it devolves very quickly to threatening to smack people in the face, which physical violence was started by Naeem's mom. That was where the threats were. And I think Nyla was ready to see that to fruition in some ways.
You know, I feel like I didn't catch a whole lot of the fight because I was too entertained by his mom not really knowing whether she wanted to put the Chewbacca sweater back on or not. Like, she really couldn't.
Well, she did. She was putting it back on.
I know. And then she took it back off.
Because then she had, this was how she was escalating, that she was showing that she was ready to fight, was that she was removing the Chewbacca shawl to show it.
We can't damage that in a fight.
Right. Yeah. To preserve the quality of the Wookiee fur that was used. And yeah, we had to make sure that that was the approach. But it was a lot of all bark and no bite, very clearly.
Well, nothing happened in terms of actually like putting hands on each other.
Well, because what you think was going to happen, that's the answer. Nyla already had that answer ready to go. It's, if you're going to come over here and put your hands on me, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to be a problem for you, not for me. It's going to be a problem for you.
I'm going to grab a hold of that Wookiee hair.
Well, no, the other part that really got me during this whole altercation, because obviously it is 0 to 100 very quickly, and they're screaming at each other on a patio in broad daylight in the middle of the afternoon.
In the front of the restaurant,
front
too.
Of the restaurant, on the sidewalk in front of the restaurant, basically. And the waitress peeks out the door and is trying to clearly intervene at some point, to interject, to say something about like, oh, can we keep it down? Or I don't think that, no, like, please don't do this.
Leave? Like, she was trying to say something and then just gave up.
Just closed the door and walked back inside. So I loved that, because it's like, I don't get paid enough to deal with this shit. So yeah, if we need to go call somebody or whatever, but I'm not getting in the middle of this.
She probably saw the camera and was like, oh.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to head out.
Never mind.
Oh, TLC sticker on the camera there? Oh, never mind.
I don't know if they got kicked out or they just voluntarily decided that was the end of the dinner.
It wasn't dinner. It was drinks, midday drinks, which I think that only fueled the fire here.
Which they left most of. And
well, Joe cleaned them up. Johari introduced herself as Joe.
Oh, I missed that.
When they met Naeem's mom. Yeah, Joe was cleaning house on the drinks.
Oh, yeah. She made sure to not just get a sip, but like downed that thing.
Polishing them off.
And then went back to their house to talk to them more about what just happened. It's like, no, I'm feeling too good. It's time to go home now.
I was going to say, well, she rode there with them
She had to go
I
back.
think so. So she was probably, yeah.
Like, production, can you please just call me an Uber?
I'm ready to get out of here.
What did they talk about? They just went back and pretty much were like, hey, do you think you can even have a relationship, a plural relationship, and still maintain a relationship with your mom? Because it doesn't seem like it.
And I guess that was the culmination of their storyline here. Do we think they're actually going to find someone before the season ends? Just
No.
a prospective date. Can we have one good date before the end of the season from them?
Let me see. Are they in the next episode description? They are.
I mean, they're
We'll
going
see
to be
them at least one more time.
They're going to be around. It's just, what do we think this is going to lead up to? This had to be the firework ending for their storyline. So what did they even accomplish this season? Nothing.
Nothing.
They're just cutting someone out of their life. That's all.
Who was already kind of cut out of their life to begin with.
Yeah, wasn't really involved.
Until
so
TLC until TLC called and decided to start filming. Then they were like, think you can come over, Mom?
we need the ratings.
Speaking of moms.
And ratings. It's the Merrifields.
The ratings, especially.
Oh, man.
It is still the same day as we left off in the last episode. The wedding has been called off. Garrick and Natalia are not going to be getting married in Brazil on this trip. And it's a sad day for them and all, but it's like a really exciting day for Danielle because they're going to go get an ultrasound now on the heels of that bad news so that they can all see the baby.
This was so awkward to just have Garrick trying to explain it in broken English to Natalia as well. Sad wedding, baby happy. Like he goes into
not going to help her learn to speak English if you're speaking like that.
100%. It only causes more problems. If you're speaking in broken English to someone who barely speaks English, their English is not going to improve.
Her English has actually gotten a lot better since we first met her, and it has been 6 weeks.
Somehow, because if this is how Garrick is talking to her, it's amazing that she's progressed at all.
She's learned the basics. Now it's time to progress into full sentences. She's ready for it.
His caveman rhetoric that he just keeps perpetuating here, it's not working. How this is bittersweet.
It's mostly bitter for Natalia.
It's very bitter for Natalia.
We find out that on top of the sting of the wedding not happening because they found out somehow magically that the Merrifields live a plural lifestyle, Natalia was trying to get pregnant these last few weeks while Garrick has been in Brazil, and it didn't happen. And isn't that just like crazy that we could be trying to have a baby, but then I unintentionally had a baby with Danielle?
We wasted the good sperm on you. But like, wow. Lesson learned here. Never give Garrick the benefit of the doubt. Ever. Because last week, what did we say? It's amazing that he hasn't been trying to get Natalia pregnant. Wrong. He has actively been trying, and he just didn't disclose that until this week.
Yeah, they kept it quiet in front of the cameras so far, but it was most definitely happening.
As we all knew it would, but I even thought maybe they learned from last time. Nope, clearly they did not.
So it's time for Natalia to disassociate because we're going to very quickly shift gears from the sadness and devastation that is your day, and we're going to go see the baby and pretend that we're all equally as excited as Danielle is about bringing this new life into this family.
Oh, Danielle's having a great day. She is beaming. She is just all lit up. She's ready to go. They're in the waiting room. They get called in. They're doing this whole thing. It seems like Natalia's telling us here that she's upset that she didn't get to talk to Garrick about how she feels before they're going in for the sonogram here. So there seems to be kind of a disconnect where she was just kind of rushed into this, where it was like, hey, this is what we're doing today. Let's go ahead and do that and be happy for Danielle because this is a good thing for her. And if you pretend to be happy for Danielle, maybe you'll cheer up about the wedding and you not having a baby right now too, okay?
Well, that's how Garrick lives his life, isn't it?
That is exactly the script.
So get used to that.
Yeah, if this isn't working for you, I don't know what the rest of this is going to look like. I don't know what you've signed up for here, or if you're aware. So then how can we make this more weird? How can the day get any more bizarre.
Have a group of your best friends come over to spend time with us, which was supposed to be a celebration of our wedding earlier in the day, but we're not going to call it off. We'll still just have them all come over and they can meet us.
We're rebranding what would have been a wedding reception with Natalia's friends, and this is going to be a dismal affair. This is going to be so upsetting.
I feel like the producers had to be part of this, where they were like, thank God we're going to get some more people who can translate what's happening. We're going to get them in a room and we'll talk. Because there's not much conversation that happens when we get just Danielle, Garrick, and Natalia in a room together.
And this isn't just a couple people. This is a room full of people who are coming in here. And I guess for Garrick's 6 weeks in Rio, we have to do his vocabulary check. He did learn the Portuguese word for beer. So that's one word so far for him. That's been pretty good. And so he was offering beers to everyone. I don't think we need to get alcohol into the mix for this conversation.
No. And it very quickly devolves into an airing of grievances.
The only people who are talking in this room are Garrick, Danielle, and Natalia, and then her one friend who can translate between Portuguese and English. Nobody else is speaking, because what would you say in this room?
It made it even weirder that there are several other people who are just witness to the conversation.
So many people. And they're having like deep therapy type conversations that are taking place here, where Garrick is uncomfortable with the amount of sharing that's taking place because you don't know any of these people. This is weird.
Natalia's the one who starts it. She starts telling them about how she felt like Garrick didn't give her enough attention today, that she was really upset about the wedding being called off and how embarrassing it was for her to have to call all her family members and tell them that it wasn't going to be happening. And then she had to just quickly shift gears into going to see the baby with them, and that she found that all to be strange.
And so Danielle has to immediately dismiss all of that because she's like, I think you got a lot of support from Garrick today. So
more than I usually do, especially over the past 6 weeks while he's been here with you. That was the underlying thing that was not said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was in there. And almost like if you didn't know that it was like this, get ready because you're in for a rude awakening because there's going to be a lot more of that where it's you on your own.
And also, Danielle, we've seen her do this before where she has to intervene and defend Garrick whenever he is criticized by someone, and it has to do with the other sister wife having a feeling about the way that Garrick behaves.
And shout out to Lorena, Natalia's friend, who did all of the translating this episode, hopefully not for free. I hope TLC paid her for her services on this episode. But man, her assessment was spot on, because she had a hand in everybody's conversation for this episode, translating back and forth as needed, where she was like, I think they're a great family who they should be married and together, but just not right now. Maybe give it some time, maybe get to know, maybe work through some of these issues, and then you'll be in a better spot, and then you can enjoy this life all together. But right now, I feel like there's a lot of resentment and animosity and kind of just a lot of back and forth that's going on here that's not very constructive.
That was a good read from someone who spent 12 minutes with them inside a room.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very different when Garrick's not trying to impregnate you every second of the day. I guess that that can be a distraction at most of the time when you're fending off his advances constantly.
Natalia got her turn to talk about what was upsetting her. So Danielle takes this as an opening to now talk directly to Lorena and ask her to talk to Natalia and tell her that she really, really wants Natalia to open up to her more. That's been really frustrating for her, especially over these past few weeks while Garrick has been here in Brazil. She didn't include her in any of the wedding planning, and she just feels like she's very closed off towards her. And she's starting to cry as she's talking about this.
And that's that loneliness that Garrick was talking about, where he really needs to get to 3 wives
as
really
quickly as possible.
So fast as we possibly can. Because the problem that he's facing is when he adds the second wife, then Danielle gets all moody and emotional and needy and clingy.
They both, though, are showing this now because Natalia is saying, I didn't get enough attention from you when you had to focus your attention to Danielle.
And this is where Garrick was like, look, I love my favorite aspect of multiple wives is the sisterhood dynamic, because then they sort out all this emotional stuff. They're going to be the emotional caretakers for each other, and I don't have to deal with that.
That is what he said, essentially.
I'm outsourcing that part of marriage because I just do the PP and the V, and that's all I'm here for, with as many wives as I can, but without all the ooey gooey emotional stuff. I want the other ooey gooey stuff.
The brownie batter. Speaking of the Browns, is that what he learned from watching Sister Wives? Is you get to wife number 3 as quickly as possible. You need the third wife.
It's an emergency status, and we knew that from Married to Janelle. Then you need Christine immediately.
He's already seeing things start to occur, and all right, let's look for number 3.
Maybe that was why Roberta number 1 wasn't a great fit. She wasn't really a Janelle personality type, where Danielle could equate to kind of a Mary personality type. And then now they've got Natalia, who is kind of quieter, more reserved, a little bit more passive maybe. A Janelle type.
I don't know if she is a Janelle type. She's been a lot more confrontational than Janelle would have ever been at the beginning of their relationship.
She's a Janelle type right now because she doesn't speak the same language as the people who are in the relationship.
She's got opinions, but she can't actually verbalize them.
She can't express it. And that's working for them right now. So that's why they got to get to number 3 really quick here.
Do you want to buy a home but don't know where to begin? Let's make home the goal. Hi, I'm Nancy Cole from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. Our Office of Housing Counseling has you covered, offering free or low-cost counseling services to help potential homebuyers and current homeowners. Our nearly 4,000 housing counselors across the U.S. are here to help you navigate your home buying journey every step of the way. To learn more and to find a HUD-certified housing counselor near you, visit HUD.gov/make home the goal.
Listen up, corporate types. It's me, Billy Idol. You might use Workday's responsible AI to future-proof your business. That doesn't make you rock stars. When have rock stars ever been responsible?
Be a finance and HR rockstar with Workday.
This Halloween, ghoul all out with Instacart. Whether you're hunting for the perfect costume, eyeing that giant bag of candy, or casting spells with eerie decor, we've got it all in one place. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time, minimum $10 per order, service fees, other fees, and additional terms apply. Instacart, bringing the store to your door this Halloween.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
Where'd you get those shoes? Easy. They're from DSW. Because DSW has the exact right shoes for whatever you're into right now. You know, like the sneakers that make office hours feel like happy hour, or the boots that turn grocery aisles into runways. Basically, DSW has all the styles that show off the many sides of you, from daydreamer to multitasker and everything in between. Because you do it all, in really great shoes, of course. And your style can't be defined by just one pair. Lucky for you, DSW has tons of options, so you can turn any mood into a whole look. Find the latest shoes and must-own trends for everything you do, from the brands you love, like Nike, UGG, Birkenstock, Adidas, Steve Madden, and more. Oh, and they just so happen to be the perfect price. Find a shoe for every you at your DSW store and always at DSW.com.
They end up hugging and crying, Danielle and Natalia, because the friend talks to her about how Danielle is feeling that she wants this relationship with Natalia, and they feel like The sister thing isn't really working out as great as they had hoped it would at first.
And everybody is stunned in silence. Nobody said anything else in this entire conversation. What are you going to chime in with on this?
I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe we should. Can we call it here? Like, I think I'm done with all this. Let's get out of here.
Did we even see the end of this party? I'm going to put that in quotes.
Yeah, it was definitely not a party. Shared therapy session?
I don't know, because we quickly, all of a sudden, are at dinner for Garrick's birthday.
Well, yeah, I think the only conclusion that we reached, we didn't see how things wrapped up at the apartment. It was basically, we just got a series of recaps from Garrick and Danielle about how Natalia seems to still be thinking about things in monogamous terms. Or no, it was just Danielle.
That was Danielle.
She's
got a lot to learn,
yes,
bitch.
she's got to reframe her expectations because she's still thinking about Garrick being a supportive partner in monogamous terms. And that's not what we're going to be getting ourselves into here. That's not what you've signed up for now. Turns out.
She's already thinking about what she's going to do next to make this implode.
Courting Garrick is very different than polygamy version Garrick that you receive after he's courted you. I will tell you, seeing Garrick walking down the street in Rio, holding both of their hands to get to the restaurant, it looked weird. It was very awkward. He strikes me as a very awkward polygamist. It doesn't seem like a natural fit for him.
We would have never seen Cody Brown hold two wives' hands walking down the street.
No PDA.
There's no PDA. That it doesn't work well in polygamy.
So I don't know if it's just because, I haven't been exposed to that, but there's some people where you can see them doing something where it's like, oh, that seems very natural.
Well, I think Garrick just makes a lot of things very awkward. He is an awkward person.
Yeah, because then how is he going to solve that when he gets a third wife? How are you going to hold all those hands?
We're going to take turns. You get 5 minutes, you get 5 minutes.
Yeah, you have to go one at a time. Yeah, you're not going to be able to hold two at a time.
Exactly.
That's going to be a problem.
Well, that's why you have the two other sister wives. They're going to hold hands while you hold hands with the third. They're there to lean on one another.
Right. Okay. That makes more sense. But let's see if they actually do that. I don't think we're ever going to get to that many. But you would think that someone who's been called to this by God, it would seem a little bit more natural. It's very awkward.
He had to have planned this out perfectly where the last day of his trip, he's in Brazil for his birthday.
Looking for some birthday sex.
And it's the last night he's there, so you're really not getting out of it.
Guaranteed. Double down. Dickin' down.
And that's what he's got on the agenda after they go out to eat, and he makes that pretty clear.
Oh, this is a formality at this point because we know this is just the foreplay to the 5 minutes of excellence that he's going to achieve when they get back to their bedroom tonight. And that's being pretty generous.
Was there anything else they talked about other than the fact that they're going to start the K-1 visa process?
Oh, I had some notes because, there was a wonderful, wonderful point where they had to start in on this conversation about how they're in a much better spot as of right now because they're leaving tomorrow. Everything seems to be on good terms, seem to have a better understanding of where everybody's at in this relationship now, and we're all on the same page. That's great. Natalia offers up that the idea that the baby, Danielle and Garrick's new baby that's on the way, is really going to bring them together and solidify them as a family, which you could tell Danielle's kind of freaking out inside a little bit because she's like, uh-oh.
The baby backfired.
Is this backfiring? Yeah, because we know this had to be strategy on Danielle's part. Because there was an interesting part at the very end of the sonogram spot when they were looking at the baby. Danielle had said, oh, there it is. It's very real. Like, was there an accusation that maybe this was a fake pregnancy?
Oh, I wonder.
Because she said that, and it's like, I guess I could understand her saying that from like oh my gosh, it's so real now, like it's becoming very real.
Yeah, but could that be a pointed...
It is real because
comment.
This is happening. Yeah, like this isn't something that was faked out of this. This is something that's real. So I don't know if that was Natalia's response to the sonogram section of the episode today.
Well, so there's been a lot of speculation that perhaps Natalia felt like this was something that Danielle did on purpose to try to save her marriage because they were squeezing her out, and now they're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, because Danielle has to stay relevant in this. And this is just becoming an emotional game of chicken between Danielle and Natalia of who's going to blink first.
They are formidable opponents.
Danielle thought she had this wrapped up. She thought she had Natalia down and out, down for the count, and she is battling back.
She's got more things up her sleeve.
Oh, she wasn't ready. But yeah, that's not to say Danielle is out of this and she's going to give up now. No, I think she's going to come up with a couple different solutions that she has in mind here. Because distance, we find out Natalia is having a lot of trouble with distance, and they're leaving tomorrow. We don't know how long it's going to be before we see each other again. The K-1 visa process takes a long time, so we don't know what that's going to be like. Long distance, very difficult. So I think that's where Danielle's going to seize her opportunities.
Were they not long distance for like just a couple of weeks after he got home from that trip from Mexico?
It was 2 weeks, and they'd only been talking for like a month before they met up with her in Mexico. So
that's weird.
Hasn't been that long.
You've spent more time in person actually than you've spent in a long distance relationship now because of this trip to Brazil.
Well, and I guess that's why that's even been a possibility because, yeah, distance for her has been a big issue. So now Danielle has information available to her where if distance is an issue, that's all I need to do. I just need to get Garrick distracted with something new, something shiny.
Keep him at home somehow.
And keep him stateside.
Next episode?
I did get one more Portuguese word out of Garrick repeatedly this episode, which was rapido. So he's really leaning into his 2 Portuguese words that he's learned in the 6 weeks that he's been here. Pretty impressive. He'll probably be hearing that one a lot later in the bedroom. Rapido, Garrick. Rapido. Hurry up and finish. I want to go to sleep.
I guess that's where we leave them this episode. They're carrying the show on their backs. Them and the Ryans, who I really need back in the next episode. And
it looks like we had them in the preview. They should be dating. I think we'll get a glimpse back into the crazy, crazy world of the Ryans' polygamist relationship.
Next episode, Nick Davis goes on a romantic first date with Jasmine. Potential sister wife Sarah throws a curveball at the Sherwoods. Becky Ryan and Yari have an awkward first meeting. The Salahuddins deal with the aftermath of their fight with Jamila.
I think it's going to be a good one. I think we'll have a couple of long overdue updates.
I agree. And this is the end of the season pretty much. So we're going to start wrapping up some storylines, and then we'll just be left with the ones that have the most drama attached to them. I am looking forward to that.
It's going to be good.
Thank you for listening. If you want to support us, the best way to do that is by subscribing to the podcast or leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Be sure to chat with us about the episode on our Discord channel by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod.
Stay tuned, share with friends. See you next time.
We all have dreams. Dream home renovations, dream vacations, or sending our kids to their dream colleges. But finding straightforward ways to turn those dreams into realistic goals, that's where things get tricky. Merrill understands that. That's why, with a dedicated Merrill advisor, you get a personalized plan and a clear path forward. And having the bull at your back helps your whole financial life move with you. So when your plans change, Merrill is with you every step of the way. Go to ml.com/bullish to learn more. Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do? Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC.